So I'm getting dressed thinking, what song are we going to do today? And I realized what shirt I'd put on. This is my Mayday band shirt. This was a group of boys in my studio from the old days. It was Marco, Matt, Dashiell, Cooper, and Lucas. Gentlemen, shout out to you. Miss you guys. Call me. Yeah, and Marco, my mini-me, had recently requested Hash Pipe by Weezer. So here we go with Hash Pipe by Weezer. And after this song, I have a funny story to tell you that this song reminds me of, so if you care to listen to that, stick around. Otherwise, shut me off. Okay, here we go. A power chord, just 2-note power chords, not 3-note power chords. Open A string, D string, 2nd fret. Palm muted a bit, so you're gonna take the fatty part of your, like if you're gonna do a karate chop, and you're gonna put it on the bridge, right where the string meets the bridge. It's a feel thing. You gotta get it in the right spot, and you gotta press just hard enough, but not too hard. So futz around with that and find it, and once you'll find it, you'll have it. And but it's frustrating at first, but don't give up, persist. All right, so A, followed by B, which is A string, 2nd fret, D string, 4th fret, for 1 pluck, and then C, which is A string, 3rd fret, D string, 5th fret. And that's the verse. Except for when he goes, which is unmuted, and you can slam your, I'm using my pinky, it's just easier for me to do this riff that way. You could use your ring finger for this whole bit. But notice I'm using my pointer finger for that first one, because then it's quicker to get it there. You could use your ring finger and go, but that's more moving, right? Anyways, back to the accent, which is... You just slam your whatever finger you're using down onto the, definitely the G string, maybe the B string, and play it unmuted. And that's the verse up until you got your problems, which is, this is neat. So A string 5th fret, this is a D power chord, D string 7th fret and G string 7th fret, but they fatten up the power chords here and they put it, so our power chord construction is root, 5th, root again, and a 5th, as you may know, is always located on the string above towards the sky, musically below, the root note. So if we add a 5th fret on the E string, we're adding another 5th, and we now have a 4-note power chord. But it's just roots and 5ths, just like regular power chords, and that's what Weezer does in this part. Come on and kick me. And then they open it up. So in the live versions I perused, Rivers stayed down here and went. So it's just more strummy and less muty. And Brian went up here. Same notes, 5, 5, 7, 8 on the E string now, power chord. Still 2-note power chords. Back to your D, but your big fat D, your 4-note D, 5, 5, 7, 7. Come on and kick me! And then we're in the chorus, so we're going to keep this shape just exactly as we have it, and we're going to move it up to the 8th and 10th frets, that's an F. 7th and 9th frets. 5th and 7th frets. 3rd and 5th frets. 2nd and 4th frets. Back to the verse. Wow, that's really the whole song, except for the chorus before the solo, which they do their whole thing. F on the 8th fret, E on the 7th fret, D on the 5th fret, C on the 3rd fret, and then the band hits G. So 3, 5, 5, and the lead guitar does something really neat there. On the G string, they go 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, and what they're alluding to is the C B that we just did right at the end of the chorus. Because that's a neat change. You hear that 5, 4, 4 on the G string happen in that change, but over the G chord, that represents, if you were to play your G bar chord, where your middle finger would be on the 4th fret of the G string, that is a B note, because the 4th fret of the G string is the same as the 2nd fret of the A string. Now, let's take this thought and move it to what it is relative our G open chord, because a G open chord is the same G as the G bar chord, and as I've said, and as I'm gonna say, and as I'll say again, because this is important to recognize, in these things, when you have a root, the lowest note of a chord is usually the root, and then you go back 1 fret and down towards the center of the earth 1 fret, that's a root and a major third. You see it in G, you see it in C, you see it in F, you see it in B7, my favorite chord ever. But yeah, so in our G bar chord, this B is our third, and it's going 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4 relative to G. Doesn't sound so weird, it sounds like a Tom Petty song or something, but with this still in your mind, it sounds more like a creepy allusion to that. Yeah, so neat songwriting there at Rivers, but no surprise, guy's kind of a genius. Very strange genius, but a genius nonetheless. And that brings us to the solo, which is not all that much. We're going to do it on 1 string first, on the baby E string first, and you're going to see that it mimics the verse melody. Here we go, on the 8th fret, 8, 7, 5, 3, 12, 10, 8, 7, 15, 14, 12, 10, 19, 17, 19, 17. Okay, remember that and add to it the following. So we got our 8 on the baby E string, and we're going to do 8 on the B string as well. I'm going to use my pinky because we're going to do 5 on the G string. And now what we have is, well, you'll see what we have when we get down there. But yeah, you're just going to strum those 3 strings. So I'm still going to call out this fret. This finger is going to move along with it, so it will always stay relatively the same. This is covering baby E and the B string. This is on the G string. So 8, 7, 5, and then 3. When we get to 3, this finger's services are no longer needed, and what we have are the bottom 3 notes of a G chord you'll recognize as. So that's really what we're doing. We're moving like a G shape up and down the neck here with this solo. I'll do it again all the way through. 8, 7, 3, open. 12, 10, 9, no, 8, 7, 15, 14, 12, 10, 19, 17, 19. Try that one more time with plus knowing how to count. 8, 7, I keep looking at my pointer finger. Okay, this is the one. 8, 7, 5, 3, 12, 10, 8, 7, 15, 14, 12, 10, 19, 17, 19, 17. Then they're back into this. And so on and so forth. And that is all the pieces you need to play hash pipe. Now the slightly comical story that this song reminds me of. Okay, I'm 18 years old and I just got super inspired to start learning how to play B in a band, right? And I had this acquaintance who became my close friend because I'm not going to say his name, because he had been doing this for a few years and his band was really decent. They wrote cool songs. Weezer was his favorite band. My band was more like a band. It had my girlfriend's uncle in it, for God's sake. And yeah, so he always covered hash pipe. So this song reminds me of this guy. All right, time goes by. I go to his house. I fly back to Pittsburgh because I had moved to California to record an album. Things hadn't got much better at that point. Yeah, with him, and then more time goes by, we have a falling out of some sort. It was this thing, I didn't do this thing that he wanted me to do, and he felt I should have done it. Not the kind of thing I might have gotten upset about, but everybody's different. Alright, anyways, fast forward more. I'm sitting there watching Teen Mom, because I do that sometimes. Well, I used to do it more. Now I just do it once in a while, I swear. But yeah, so I'm watching this scene, and this song comes on, and it was so familiar, and I just couldn't place it. And then I realized, oh my God, they're playing my song on Teen Mom. I think it was Teen Mom 2. It was the one with Macy in it. Anyways, and it was a Macy scene also. Yeah, and I'm thinking, how could this possibly have happened? And that was a very exciting moment, as you might imagine. It was really cool to hear my song on Teen Mom. Anyways, I finally figure out that this guy has a job with MTV, and he basically selects music for, you know, for those really junky MTV shows. And that's how my song got on Teen Mom, or Teen Mom 2. I don't remember. Okay, if you stuck around for that story, thanks for being here. If you didn't, then I can say anything I want about you because you're not here. Just kidding. Everyone's great. We're great. This is great, and I will see you next time with more stuff. Marco, I hope that was good for you. Let me know if you have any questions. Goodbye.